Ramadan is not a festival. We've made it into a festival. We've made it into endless iftars, foods that we don't see for the whole year only come out in Ramadan. We've made it into a festival, but it's not a festival. The Imam, Hafidhahullah, he just recited the verse of fasting. Ya ayyuhal, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, Ya ayyuhal ladina amanu kutiba alaykumus siyamu kama kutiba ala ladina min qablikum la'allakum tattaqun. That, to the nearest meaning, to the nearest effect, O believers, fasting has been prescribed for you, just like it was prescribed for the people before you, so that you can attain a state of taqwa. That's the primary reason for fasting. And so, what is taqwa? And our ulama, so the Sahabi al-Jalil, Sayyidina Abdullah ibn Abbas radiallahu anh, he explains what's taqwa. And he says taqwa is to obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and not transgress His limits. Taqwa is to remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and not forget Him. Taqwa is to be in a constant state of gratitude and never be in a state of ingratitude. That's got nothing to do with food. Do you see? So the whole purpose is and Ibn Rajab al-Hanbali rahimahullah, he's wrote a book called Al-Lata'if al-Ma'arif, which is, he goes through all the Islamic months. And in the chapter of Ramadan, he talks about how, if you look at the wisdom behind Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala telling us not to do things that are permissible for us. So during daylight hours, not to eat or drink and have relations with your husband, wife. Something that's permissible, something that's perfectly fine. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us for that short period to not do that. Ibn Rajab al-Hanbali rahimahullah, he says in his Lata'if al-Ma'arif, that if the believer can stop themselves from doing something that's permissible, then it's even more upon the believer to not do things that are impermissible. And in Ramadan, Allah makes that easy for us. Allah makes that easy for us. And we'll get to this, but it's really difficult to attain that state if the days of Ramadan go past us. What am I going to have for iftar? It's really difficult to attain the state of taqwa. So that's the starting point, that it's not a festival, it's a month of ibadah, it's a month of worship. And Ibn Rajab al-Hanbali, I'm going to mention him a lot because the chapter on Ramadan is a wonderful chapter. It's important to read before, prepare for Ramadan. He cites the narration of the Prophet ﷺ that every act which is obligatory, which is fard, the reward is 70 times more. Everything that's nafil, that's optional, the reward is the same as something that's obligatory. And so our ulama say that Ramadan is suqul akhirah. It's the marketplace for the akhirah. It's got nothing to do with this world, this month. It's a time to let go. And that's the starting point of Ramadan.